I must believe. I believe all things are possible, that one can change his fate, wildest rivers can be crossed, highest mountains climbed, every grain of sand counted, every child fed. I believe we waste lives fighting battles, and we often lose our wars. I believe in ordinary heroes who die for extraordinary reasons, reasons we too quickly forget. I believe in straightforwardness of questions, that habits can be changed. I believe that greed is shameless and compassion limitless. I believe love is a gift, and a gift is love. I believe we can be blinded. I believe we can see. I believe in our wisdom. I believe I must believe.
Love is a gift.
Welcome to Living an Aligned Life, where we invite you to get to know and honor the life that is uniquely yours to live. I'm Jean Keating. Today, our very special guest is Chez Raginiak. He will share his remarkable story of escaping his homeland of then communist Poland at the tender age of 25 and coming to America with nothing. No money, no friends, no family, no English language. Chez had to dig very deep and pull out inner capacities in order to develop freedoms in all aspects of his life. Please join us today for Chez's story of resilience, determination, and achievement. Chez, welcome to our show and welcome to this story you have to share today.
Thank you very much, Jean. I'm delighted to be here. Thank you for having me on your show.
We are delighted to have you. You are an award-winning speaker in English language and author of 2 books, My Escape to Freedom and Learned English Without Teachers.
Correct.
That tells us a little bit about your journey, of course. And I know that your book, My Escape to Freedom, has already won an award from Midwest Independent Publishing Association. Quite a nice honor.
Yes,
So
thank you.
tell us, how did you come to write your story, and how is it that you wrote it in the form of poetry?
Every person coming to a new country to start a new life has a strong desire to record one's journey for the next generations. And I started to record my journey using songs and short stories. And about 15 years ago, I started to write memoir, but then I looked into my diary that I kept over the years, all the way from Poland through the refugee camp in Austria to America, and I read the poems that I had written over the years. And it occurred to me that the poems told the story. After compiling them and adding a few more poems, I realized that they don't just tell my story of an immigrant coming to America. They tell the story of every person in every country. They tell the story of all kinds of escapes to all kinds of freedom. Escapes from tumultuous past, from dependencies on others. Escapes to freedom to do what we choose to do, to express our ideas, desires, wishes, and dreams, and escapes from our fears, from our habits and addictions that can destroy our lives and ruin the lives of those whom we love, and the freedom to choose and to live the life that we're born to live. That's what the book is about. That's what the poems are all about.
Beautiful, Chez. Let's start from the very beginning, your life in Poland. And for those of us listening, let's all remember that Poland at that time was suffering from political oppression and was a communist country in the Cold War years. So tell us about your life in Poland.
Well, let me start from the very beginning, I guess. I grew up in a small town in northeast Poland called the land of 1,001 lakes.
Oh, beautiful.
I know. Here I am in the land of 10,000 lakes. There were 23 lakes and 3 rivers within 3-mile radius from my hometown. I grew up with fishing and wild mushroom hunting and hiking, just like northern Minnesota. Oh, I loved it for that reason. The house where I grew up was built around World War I, potato basement, small attic, the size of the house around 16 by 24 foot, that's it. There was parents and 6 of us children. My mother lives there still. She shares it with one of my sister's husband, and their 3 children. This may sound extreme, but my mom, she just turned 82 last month. She still gets up every morning, goes to a barn, splits wood, and brings it home, and she starts a fire in her old stove so she can have warm water to wash her hands and wash her face. And you know, during the childhood years, I really did not understand much of the Cold War dynamics. But then over the years, by the late 70s and early 80s, the life was becoming more and more unbearable due to the failing government, the failing system. During those years, half of the country's population joined Solidarity, the workers' union, and we did all we could to bring the government down. Then came 1981, December 13th, martial law was declared in Poland, tanks rolled into the streets, and our freedom was taken away. In 81, I was 21 years old. I and thousands, millions of others participated in anti-communist government strikes. For that, we were arrested, handcuffed, and beaten. Those are the worst times in Poland since World War II. Stores were totally empty. Food was rationed. Men were taken out at night and never seen again. And everybody began to lose hope. I began to lose it too, you know. I was renting a room, not an apartment, a room with another guy, 10 by 10 foot, furnished with stove, with just 2 beds and a closet. No stove, no refrigerator, no TV, nothing, like a jail cell, you know. 6 of us rented 3 rooms like that in somebody's basement. We all shared tiny bathroom, 3 by 3, with sink and a toilet, cold water only. If we wanted to take a shower, we had to schedule it 1 week in advance with the landlord upstairs, you know. My family was on the government's blacklist for my uncle's activities against the Russian Red Army right after World War II. One of my uncles was killed, one was jailed for 10 years, and one had to leave Poland and could never return. He died in Chicago in the 80s. I saw him only once. And then, of course, for our beliefs and activities against the government. My father started after World War II as the town's vice mayor. And 30 years later, worked as a night watchman, the worst job possible, all because he refused to join the party. You know, we all know the story of Jesus spending 40 days in the wilderness. Well, my dad was a very devoted Catholic. He wanted to be a Catholic priest when he was a young man. Then he met my mother and plans changed a little bit. But when he was 65, he went to work one morning and he never returned. And his body was found 40 days later, soaking in a river. Till now, we don't know the circumstances of his death, but we all know that the government, the lack of freedom, and the stripping of his dignity was making him die a bit every day. So that is where and how I grew up.
It's remarkable. And tell me, within all of this, what made you finally decide to leave Poland, escape?
Yes. You know, it was 83. I returned to my hometown to visit my parents and to hang out with my friends. There were no clubs, no bars to hang out. So we went to chat, you know, to get together with buddies and talk at a bus stop, just a simple structure. And as we were standing there and talking and giving hard time to each other, somebody didn't like it, obviously, because suddenly we're surrounded by the police and beaten, you know, just like that, for no reason. The next day I returned to that bus stop and I looked at our blood stains on the cement floor, and my mind said, that's it. You know, you have to escape this oppressive communist nation, or there will beat the rest of your hope out of me, and I waste my life. So it took me 2 years, but I finally escaped.
And you have a poem aptly named "They Beat Hope Out of Me."
Yes, I do.
Would you read that for
Absolutely.
us?
Absolutely.
Such a poignant.
Thank you. Yes. They beat hope out of us. A bus stop, not even a station, just a 3-wall hut with a cheap plastic roof and 3 benches fastened to a cracked cement floor, our hangout on Saturday nights. Soon after we gathered, everyone in town could hear our voices, laugh at our anarchist jokes, relate to our lives, lives with no choices. And then they came to silence our mouths, to kill our optimism, to root out any desire for change in us. With their fast-swinging arms and bone-crushing batons, they showered our innocent legs, backs, and heads with their own disappointments, ignorance, fake superiority, brains poisoned by communist dogma. A bus stop, not even a station, just a 3-wall hut with a cheap plastic roof and 3 benches fastened to a cracked cement floor, a perfect place to beat hope out of us. The next day, not even the stains of our blood on the bus stop floor or echoes of our laments within the walls stopped life from creeping forward as if nothing had happened.